Hi, this is Jeff with Birder's Diary. In this video tutorial, we're going to learn how to update checklist information for any given location that you may have in Birder's Diary using data that you find elsewhere, perhaps a website, a page on a website on the web, perhaps a file someone sent you that just contains a list of all the names for the given location. This could be the state you live in, this could be the county you live in, or a local park where you found a list of bird names that occur at that location, and you have that location defined in Birder's Diary. Okay, so let's pretend that I'm going to take a birding trip to Kenya, and I want to make sure that my data is up to date. And perhaps I found a site online, perhaps it's the tour guide that I'm using while there, and they have sent me a file or sent me a link to a website, and I'm going to use that website and their data, their list of names, to update and match what we have in Birder's Diary. It's a really quick and simple process, so let's get started. The first thing to do is to open up the Import-Export window in Birder's Diary. So I click on File, Import-Export. Make sure we select the Checklist tab. Now, this is an important part. Select the taxonomy you're matching on. For example, if we're going to Kenya, the ABA taxonomic list isn't going to be of much help. So you probably need one of the World Taxonomic lists installed. In this case, let's use the latest version of Clements. This section here in this box is for exporting checklists. This section is for importing checklists. You should probably always analyze the data before you import. This is going to show you the changes that it will make to your Birder's Diary checklist data and allow you to accept or reject that. Another question to ask yourself, does this source of bird names include subspecies in it or not? If it doesn't include subspecies, check this to ignore subspecies. Now below that you have three options. Do not overwrite, meaning do not remove names from Birder's Diary that do not occur in the list you've given it. Overwrite things, that's something different. That's when you're given a list of all the locations where a particular species lives. You don't want to deal with that. In this case, you want to use Overwrite Locations. You'll get this little warning that pops up, and you'll accept it and say yes. The next thing to do is to go find that data. So let's say I'm going to Kenya. Now remember, there's all sorts of ways. You can have a file on your computer that you can use, in which case you uncheck import data directly from the copy-paste buffer. And when you click on import, it will ask you for that file. In this instance, we're going to copy data from a web page and just use that. Let's enter in Kenya as the location we're going to update. Now let's go find bird data for that. So I'm just going to bring up Google and I'm going to type in Kenya bird checklist. Just that simple. Avabase is a very good site. Let's go ahead and use that. So I'm going to use their checklist for Kenya. Check on that. Up comes Avabase's checklist for Kenya. Scroll down a bit and we want to make sure we're using the same taxonomic list that we're using in Birder's Diary for optimal name matching. Click on this, and we're using Clements 2016, so eBird 2016 is the same thing in this speak. Make sure you click on the refresh checklist. Now we scroll down again and take a look. 1,554 species. Well, that's kind of a misnomer anymore, but Avabase just started including subspecies. So this list is going to include subspecies, hybrids, and so on. Birder's Diary will match on subspecies names, such as this Old World comb duck. So what we want to do is we want to copy all of these names into the copy buffer. Very simple thing to do. Double click at the start of the list. Then drag your scroll bar on the right all the way down to the bottom and shift click on the last name. Hold down the shift key and click with your left mouse button. And you can see that now all the text in between has been selected. Now you're going to press Control C on your keyboard And that copies all of those names, all of that data to your copy buffer. Now let's go back to Birder's Diary. You can see here that I did not check ignore subspecies because supposedly this list has a list of subspecies that can be found in Kenya. And we're going to use that list. So here's the options. Analyze data before input, overwrite locations. We've checked the option that says import data directly from the copy buffer, and our location has been set to Kenya. Now all we have to do is click on import and let it read it in. Now it's going to go through the entire Clements checklist and do name matching. Does this name occur in that copy buffer? There, and now we're done. It found 1,261 good names in that copy buffer. Now you might be saying, well, wait a second. This says at the top here that there are 1,554. You notice that it includes hybrids and slashes. We don't have those names in our taxonomic list in Birder's Diary unless you added them manually, which you can certainly do. So we found a subset of the 1,554. Okay, so you click on OK on this message. And now we have the analysis window. This is an important window and worth your time. What it's telling you is, here are the names we found that need to be added because they weren't previously associated with Kenya. And here are the names that you had associated with Kenya that need to be deleted because we didn't find them in that list you gave me. Very simple. Let's take a look at this real quick. You can see here that these are subspecies. It considers 2 subspecies not to be present in Kenya. Okay, because those names did not exist in the data you gave it. So let's take a look. And here it is. So let's go back to the top and let's find Abyssinian crimson wing. And there's Abyssinian crimson wing. Now all we've got is the species for this. So obviously, no checklist data anywhere you find at the source, no matter what, is ever 100% correct. In this case, why are we specifying the species without specifying any of the subspecies? Well, again, nothing is 100% correct. If we go back and look at the comments for this subspecies, you can see that Clements thinks that it does occur in southeast Kenya. Okay? Now, this brings up some good points here. What is this checkbox for with the X at the top? What this means is, click that and it will no longer be removed. We don't want to remove this Abyssinian crimson wing subspecies kilamensis from Kenya because obviously Clements thinks it belongs there. We'll leave this unchecked, gray-winged robin-chat nigriceps, as being removed. Let's go back and take a look. Gray-winged robin chat. We do a find. Gray-winged robin chat. You can see that it lists the species and the nominate subspecies. So, since Birder's Diary doesn't find subspecies nigriceps in there, it wants to remove it. And that seems about right to me. Now let's take a look at these names that want to be added. Okay, apparently it found Aninga in this list for Kenya. That sounds a little bit out of range, but let's take a look. Let's go back. Let's search again. Anhinga. Ah, look what it did. It found the name Anhinga in here, but only as the genus of the African darter. We don't want to add Aninga to Kenya, so we go back and we say, do not add that. What about long-eared owl? That seems like a North American species. Let's search for long-eared. Ah, it found long-eared owl all right, but it was the African long-eared owl. So we don't want to add that, so we come back and we turn that off. And we go back down through here again. And we continue on. We've got montane double-collared sunbird and the subspecies western sunbird. Now this is a good point. Let me show you the what the question mark does. It brings up the cross-reference window. This shows you where this bird exists in other taxonomic lists and what it's called. Notice in Clements it's the montane double-collared sunbird, and in IOC it's Ludwig's double-collared sunbird. Okay, they both have the same scientific name, but according to this, they should both be there. Well, is that true? Let's take a look at this checklist data again. Montane, double-collared. Oh, look at here. They only list a subspecies of the montane double-collared sunbird. Obviously, if a subspecies is there, then the species is there. So worth adding both. Okay, so we're going to keep both of those in there. The species and the subspecies. What about streaky-headed seedeater? Let's go back and take a look. Streaky-headed. Again, it lists a subspecies group as being present. Well, that means the species is present too. So streaky-headed seedeater should be added. So we're going to keep him in there. And how about yellow-streaked greenbull? And there it is. Again, it's only listing a subspecies group without listing the species. Kind of an error, but as I said, no checklist data is 100% correct. So we're going to keep that in here. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to add 4 of these 6 records, but not add Aninga and long-eared owl. And we're going to remove gray-winged robin-chat nigriceps, but keep Abyssinian crimson-winged kilamensis. Okay, just by using this checkbox here. Now, we can go ahead and write these out. And we can open the log and see what it says. And there it is. Do not add Aninga and long-eared owl. Add these 4. Do not remove Abyssinian crimson wing and remove the gray-winged robin-chat. Okay? Makes sense. So let's continue. You bet. And now the job is done. We have updated our checklist for Kenya to the latest available information that we found on the internet. That concludes this video tutorial. I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much.